I need to know how you're going to get a truck down there to offload sound equipment. And the response was, well, you can't take an 18-wheeler down there because there's going to be underground drainage pipes in it. And the road doesn't go, there's a cul-de-sac at the end, a circle, and there's not a road from there to the amphitheater. So the amphitheater's down in the corner where you might need to get speakers and mics and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be a grassy knoll area that has drainage pipes in it, and the biggest thing you can drive is a regular pickup truck, maybe a ton or a ton-and-a-half pickup truck in and out there, and he wasn't very pleased about that. So they did set up the baseball field so that 18-wheeler can come in one side of the outfield and out the other side. And there was actually a music promoter there, and he said, look, I'm just telling you up front, facilities are ranked A, B, and C, and if you don't get an A ranking, nobody's coming here. And one of the 3 items in an A ranking is getting in and getting out. Because if you can't get in and get out, they won't even consider your facility. Also, and we've discussed it on the show before, Judge Lacey Collier was one of the original, he was the chairman of the CMPA, and he recently did kind of a question and answer session with the Pensacola News Journal, and I thought it would be important to go over some of those. Scott Davison is one of the developers that we discussed, and in a search of public records, and he doesn't deny it, there are 3 liens against him, or foreclosures, that are going back to the bank of about $14 million. And, you know, which brought a lot of questions to the folks. I mean, you know, here's a guy, you're looking to run this $51 million project, and you have all these foreclosures. But one of the questions that was asked to Judge Collier was, you said Davison was quite effective politically lobbying people. Was it improper? Well, he said from his standpoint that it was. He felt like that, you know, that he was going to the city council members and lobbying them, which was in turn forcing an action, and then of course the city council members wouldn't acknowledge that Davidson had been over there. One of the things in here that kind of shocked me was he was asked, would it have been better if the city would have handled this process themselves, and he said absolutely not. The city is incapable of doing a project like that. He said it's the design of the bureaucracy and all of that kind of stuff. You know, there's just no way. Now, the thought comes to mind that he is the chairman of the CMPA. In 3.5 years, he hadn't accomplished nothing.
Right, thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Not one iota, except local money guys, local architects, and local engineers have flush with cash.
Right.
But nothing has been accomplished in 3.5 years. I'd say, you know, Judge Collier, just seems like that's the kind of ridiculous to make a statement like that. I really love this one. What about the question of the financial backer, J. Rick Rodriguez's financial worth? Judge Collier said, if he doesn't have a nickel, that really wouldn't trouble me. If he can get a bond, that's the only thing that I care about. So that's kind of backward thinking in my, you know, you want a guy to run a $51 million project for you, and you don't care if he doesn't have a nickel to rub together. As long as he has good credit, that's all you care about. And you know, this is a big project, and just really surprises me.
Well, and it makes me wonder, well, what's his objection to the city doing it then? What is it that the city is lacking that?
Well,
you know,
he's been the chairman of the CMPA. There, I guess there's 13 of them altogether, 12 board members plus him. They've accomplished nothing except fight against public input from folks.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really upset...
And spend money.
And spend money. One of the things that really upsets me is you have a city council member who sits on the CMPA, and when I was there asking them, don't you think public input is important? Even that city council person doesn't speak up. This is someone who is on another board who allows public input, and they know that it's important to have public input. And just really surprised. But the final thing that ripped it with me was he was asked, why did you resign and what are some of the problems? And he said, Judge Collier, and one of the problems, the Sunshine Law, the most disastrous thing ever to come down the pike in terms of getting things done. That's part of the issue that's out there now. It's like the lawsuit against the board about the rights of public to speak at meetings. Anybody who can understand the English language knows the Sunshine Law does not say anything about public participation at a meeting. That's just a sidelight. Well, let me look into the camera on this one, folks. A sitting federal judge who does not believe that the laws of the state of Florida are important. Now that makes me ponder the situation a little bit. Let me just say this to you, Judge Collier. There's a reason for the Sunshine Laws. Had you have followed public participation in the CMPA, we would have not gotten caught up in all of this stuff to start out with. If there would have been public input, we wouldn't be worried about handicap accessibility, of which it is sorely lacking in many places. If there would have been public input in this park, you would have known that nobody except one or two individuals wanted a baseball field there. If you would have accepted public input, you would have known that it is ridiculous to have a football field or baseball field, and your intentions are to have concerts with 10,000 people showing up. You would have known that 350 parking places is not enough. That one thing there to come out of a judge's mouth that a Florida statute is not important, and then to be insulting with it. Anyone who can read,
and I'll just add, because this is typical of the West Florida judiciary, as far as the question of public input not being part of Sunshine Law, there's actually a large body of case law that supported that side of the lawsuit.
And every attorney general since 1962 has backed up the right of the public to participate. And ladies and gentlemen, that is one reason that we have this TV show, is to make sure that happens. We hope that it's important to you.
And let me just worm our shovel-ready reference in.
Go ahead.
If there were no Sunshine Law, we would have no idea of the machinations that went on behind the scenes leading up to the Pullman property purchase.
Exactly.
Originally appraised at $900,000.
Exactly.
Purchased for $3.2 million.
It's important, ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, I'm Jerry Cooley. Good night.